1 minute and 7 seconds. I need more, god damn it, more! A Tomodachi Life sequel has finally been announced after 13 flipping years. Finally, it's been so long. And with this trailer, there are a bunch of differences, new additions, and returning features that can be spotted throughout. And because of this, I've decided to jump pack everything I found into a big old red one of speculation. And boy, have I thought of a beautiful theory, which if true, would be absolutely wonderful. But without any more waffling, I'm Ebonic. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll put in the comments any theories or what you would like to see in Tomodachi Life, so that when we know more, we can come back to this. I also want to hear what you guys think as well. But other than that, enjoy me overthinking about the new Tomodachi Life. Alright, let's do this iceberg style and look at what we initially see before we get into the meats and theorizing. It will be quick. Firstly, fart. As you can see, I went into great detail finding these hidden secrets. Okay, the actual first thing we see is that the Miis are moving in real time on the map itself, instead of in specific locations. We're also getting a fresh look for the shading, and the emoticons the Miis have. The customization here looks better, as you can see the highlights in this hair here. And ears! I never realized it, but yeah, Miis actually don't have ears. Now, this could mean that we're getting Miitopia levels of customization, but at the same time, it might not be the case since the Miis still have their regular looks, just with a couple small changes. I mean, this is expected, but we're also getting new clothing items. Crazily, it also seems like instead of getting a large apartment building with all the Miis in, we'll just be getting a cabin for each Mii. And I've noticed that if you look at the top window of these cabins, it looks very similar to the Mii windows that they had in the apartment building. So my guess is that this is how you're going to be able to look at the Mii's problems and whatnot. There are more things I want to touch upon about these cabins since they are very interesting, but we will talk about that after. Also, a new lighthouse structure, how cheeky. Cafe returning, how lovely. And this lady here's makeup actually stays when she closes her eyes. Instead of in the previous game, they would all just have the line no matter what. Damn, okay, oh, god damn! Mii fights are back, which is actually lovely to see, especially with the Tomodachi charm realistic pictures. Gifts as well, I'm guessing are possibly back, seeing as this woman is just doing weights. But yeah, the whole seeing every interaction in real time instead of in little sections is a really good way to make the game feel more alive. 2026, what the fuck? And here we actually see all of the new and old buildings. Right price probably being that treasure store. Quick build, we will definitely be talking about that. Fresh Kingdom, which might just be the new grocery shop, I don't know. Where and Where is probably the clothes shop, which actually seems to be merged with the hat shop this time since it's actually not here. TNC, which looks like to be the interior shop, and of course Mii News. I can't wait to see the Bulgarian cucumber background. The Goofy RR Dreams are back, which is actually lovely, and it seems that you can access them even outside the apartments. As a matter of fact, it seems like a lot of the things that were strictly limited to apartments have now been released to the outside, like daydreaming, fighting, and I'm sure there's many others too. But now that the trailer is over, let's get to the next level and do a cheeky bit of theorizing. Theorizing about maybe why you haven't subscribed yet, or even liking or commenting. They literally take a couple of seconds and would be greatly appreciated. But anyways, let me get back to actual theorizing. A fairly massive part of Tomodachi Life, especially in the later games, was Street Pass. And since it's not on the Nintendo Switch, and because gamers don't go outside, my question is, what would be a replacement for this? And I believe this is where this little lighthouse comes in. Not this city in the background, I think this is actually just to make the ocean less lonely, and I don't really think that it's going to have a big part of the game. I believe this lighthouse on your island will let other people visit your island and give you gifts, similar to the importware from the original Tomodachi Life, and will probably have some game feature or some section of the game like the importware. There could also be more online features, but at this point I have absolutely no idea at all what they could be. Another feature that makes me wonder is since the other Tomodachi Lives relied a lot on the touchscreen aspect of them, like with feeding and honestly pretty much everything, you could pretty much play Tomodachi Life without ever pressing the other buttons. But even though the Switch does have touchscreen capabilities, it doesn't really use them. I don't actually know any Switch games that use the touchscreen feature, so hopefully this Tomodachi Life uses it, since hand feeding your Mii seems way more in the charm of Tomodachi Life than just clicking on a piece of food and it's there. Another thing is, when I was watching the trailer, I saw that these Mii cabins have random things to the side of them, and not all cabins have the same thing. Now this could be changed depending on what you give these Miis or what they do on a day-to-day basis. Because of this, I think Miis could just possibly have specific jobs per Mii, or hobbies if they're unemployed. The reason I'm thinking this is because in the trailer, you can just about see a Mii moving around in this window, and I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like this guy is holding a server plate. So I'm guessing this Mii here has a specific job to be a server, but still at the same time, it could still be picked at random. However, it would be really cool though if these Miis did have jobs like this. And actually, speaking about this cafe, however, since you can see them meet in the window in real real time, this gets me a bit worried that this game is going to be a bit more like Sims, where you can see through the roof of the building instead of how they had it before, where you're closer to the ground and get to see the Miis up close. I feel like it makes you feel more immersed with it. Now, out of all of these new additions, there is one building which out of all is the most mysterious and definitely the most questionable, and that building is Quick Build. It's obviously not the interior shop, since that's here too. So what exactly is this? To answer this, I think we should take a look at the previous Tomodachi Life. In the previous Tomodachi Life, this is how the island looks. No buildings, just single signs as to where the buildings can go if they go unlocked. The way you would unlock these buildings are by progressing through the game, like by solving problems, adding more Miis and whatnot. Like how the music hall, which actually isn't in the trailer by the way, requires you to teach a Mii a song. And there are also Mii homes. No, not these cabins. The actual Mii homes that you see after two Miis get married. I think that the island we see in the Tomodachi Life Living the Dream trailer is how your island would be starting off, before you even unlocked many of the buildings in this game. Of course, not to spoil us. However, I believe that getting these buildings won't be as simple as in the 3DS Tomodachi Life. I have a theory that, say you go into the Quick Build building, there'll be like maybe a daily store or a giant list of locked buildings. Even some you might not even recognize, and some with different color styles. These locked buildings will have some text next to it saying something like, solve 50 Mii problems, or maybe one of the last ones say, have 100 Miis on your island. And it'll be a silhouette of something that looks awfully familiar. Not only that, but the way this Mii island is shaped makes me think something more. Instead of being a dynamically shaped island, this island is pretty much square, which makes me think that you can terraform this island to your liking in order to fit all of your new buildings. Like, I'm thinking of this building system kind of like an advanced Clash of Clans type deal, where you put your buildings, like I can fully imagine some sort of grid system coming up as you place things, and then when you put it down it has some sort of Lego build sound effect, and then your Mii's in like silly building costumes quickly building it, then it being built, and then you can choose where you want your park, where you want your fun fair, etc, etc. But back to the houses. I'm thinking that you can get roommates. I know a bunch of people have said this, but I'm thinking of it in a different way. Not with these little cabins, no. I'm thinking that you can expand their houses if there's more space around it to maybe a 2-bedroom, then have a roommate, or even 4 bedrooms and then have 4 roommates. I bet even later in the game, you'll be able to build an apartment style building, and I can even guess that they can have a buildable apartment building style that looks exactly like the original one as an Easter egg to the previous games. I'm not gonna lie, theorizing about this actually makes me excited for this game. The amount of possibilities and creativity people will think of for their towns. I can already think of cool stuff myself that turns Tomodachi Life into a more sandboxy kind of game, and honestly, I'm all for it. However, with all this good, there could possibly be a hidden problem from this. If Nintendo decide to go this route, they might not spend much of their time touching up on the Mii interaction part of the game, and if that happens, this will practically just be an Animal Crossing 3, and will lose its goofy charm that Tomodachi Life has. And also another problem, this shit's gonna be like 80 bucks, and I will not be buying this, simply out of pettiness, because why the fuck am I paying 80 bucks for a video game? What the flip, bro? But anyways, I guess once we start to learn more about Tomodachi Life, we can come back to this video and see if I was right or not. If you want to put some predictions in the comments and, you know, go back to them once we know more about Tomodachi Life, that would be sick. I actually want to hear if you guys have any theories about this. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed my cheeky little breakdown on the Tomodachi Life new trailer. I am Ebonic, and I thank you for watching.